the ashes, the spirits light up the night, looking down the edge of forever. So stop me or take my advice.
Now, from the Untold Radio Network, it's Untold Radio AM with Doug and Alex Hychak.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody. Episode 173. Is that right? Yep.
Correct.
We've got Craig Woolheater on tonight. Talk about Texas Bigfoot, Fouke Monster.
That'll be awesome.
Crazy stuff. I literally woke up like 2 minutes ago.
2 minutes.
Yeah, I took a nap. Trying to get over this sickness.
I know, right?
And I hear now you've got it.
Yeah, I got it from somebody.
Maybe me? I hope not. Oh, God,
No.
I feel so bad if it was me.
No, who knows?
But we're troopers. We're here.
Yeah. We're here tonight anyway.
Yeah. Anyhow. So, this stuff goes away slow. Like really, really slow for me. But today I did feel a little better. Just a little bit.
That's
but
good.
I still had to take a nap. So about maybe an hour ago, I got done watching a movie. So I kind of took the day off today. It's still kind of Christmas week, didn't do any work. I watched that new movie, Leave the World Behind. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I watched that last week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. What do you think of it?
Pretty creepy.
I know, right?
One of the weird things I did notice was, do you notice how the whole movie's blue? Everybody's wearing blue. The signs in all the towns are blue. The cars are all blue. The clothing's blue. Everybody's wearing blue.
How do you pick up on that?
Yeah.
I can see it now, thinking back, but I just...
Yeah, it starts out. Is it Ethan Hawke?
Yep.
He's on a blue wall. He's in bed and he's laying, down. And the wall is bright. But watch it again. There's something weird going on. There's other symbolism in there that I was spotting.
All the blue in it. That's
Yeah, but
interesting.
it's creepy because it's not terribly overdone, actually. It's kind of understated. But it's about, I don't want to be give spoiler alerts here, but, plug your ears if you don't know anything. But it's about society coming to an end through a very common, super common way, probably the way it would happen.
Yeah.
So that's what it's
Makes
about.
it more terrifying.
Yeah. It's not about like getting the grunge that you can't get rid of. It's not about that.
No.
But you look good over having it. Did you nap today too?
No.
You didn't.
No, that would have been nice.
Oh God. Well, I did. It was called an involuntary nap. I fell asleep at my work desk. And you wake up in one of these, you know what I mean? Your glasses are crooked, and you're like, where am I? And you're looking around. I looked at the clock and I'm like, no!
So it was like a horrible nap.
Yeah, that wasn't that great. So anyhow, well, I hope that the grunge goes away a little quicker than this new airplane I read about, because it doesn't go very fast. So an English company just announced a new aircraft that will and listen to this, it says, hopefully revolutionize air travel. Now it looks cool, right? But it kind of looks like the Hindenburg.
It does.
Yeah. So apparently it's a hybrid air vehicle. It's got helium, 4 powerful engines, and apparently it's encased in some strong but lightweight metal. Hopefully not flammable metal.
Oh yeah, I hope
like
not.
magnesium or, there's metals that are quite flammable. I used to play around with magnesium and that stuff burns like crazy. Okay. So the CEO calls it a hybrid aircraft, and apparently it'll be used for short jaunts. I wouldn't get in that thing personally.
What do they consider a jaunt? Like going
Anything
traveling the
under
Midwest?
250 miles.
So how
That's
far
a
does that
short
take you?
jaunt. And apparently it'll hold up to 100 passengers, which isn't much,
No.
right? And apparently they're hoping it'll top freeway traffic speeds at 80 miles an hour. And I'm like, God, you can't make this up.
It's only gonna go 80 miles
This
an hour.
amazing airplane will be operational by 2029.
So wait, I'm gonna wait in line for 2 hours so I can go 80 miles an hour.
I get
200 miles.
I just like, you cannot make this stuff up. Yeah, it's kind of like Back to the Future.
Right.
That makes sense.
It feels that way.
Okay. And we definitely, oh my God, somebody goes, I need to watch Creepers, or is it Creepers, Keepers?
I think it's Jeepers Creepers. I think it's a
Oh,
horror
okay.
movie.
So I see you've thrown up my next topic. No, I only put that back. Alex has gotten ahead of himself again. That's okay. So
they had taken it off the screen.
huh? Well, we'll jump right to it. I wasn't going to jump to it yet.
I'm
But there's
sick,
a
guys.
new-
Give me a break.
But there's a new popular topic on
Yes.
Reddit. And it's just people posting weird cookie cutters that they find.
Yeah, and what is this supposed to be?
Exactly. That's the mystery. So people are posting, cookie cutters. And I found some in my drawer I couldn't really identify. Because if you get a set, like there's context. But if you throw away a few of them or lose a few, and now there's no set context anymore. Like, what in the world is this? So I'm looking at this and I'm going, is that a lion? Is that a rhinoceros? Is it a dinosaur like a triceratops?
It's a dog man.
Dogman? Sure. Let's go ahead and throw another one up. But this is quite popular. You can just flip through them. All right. Everybody guess what this is. Isn't that like, is it upside down? Is it flip the other direction? What is it supposed to be? What do you think that is?
An alien tank
An alien tank.
with a gun.
Okay, next. Next. Okay. Now this one, I'm thinking maybe it's a Santa. A Santa. Those are his boots, and that's supposed to be a bag flipped over his shoulder.
Yeah. Maybe. Gosh.
I don't know.
So those are his boots.
Somebody, see, Greg goes, it's a sombrero cooking. Elf hat. Gingerbread man stepped on a pop top. Yes. And thank you, Jennifer. We do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Throw another one up. Now, what in the world is this?
It's a cat mermaid.
Cat mermaid. Is that a fish?
So you got the cat head, the fish.
Where do you see a cat head?
This is the cat head right here, the top.
Where? Okay.
Right here. Here's the head.
Narrow, skinny cat.
Yeah, and then this is the fins, the mermaid fins.
Okay, Alex is taking so much cold medicine. All right, next. Next. Bigfoot holding a gun, Carolyn said.
Yeah.
Now this looks like naughty Santa.
Oh no.
Santa got aroused or something. I don't know.
He's got a present for somebody.
Excuse me. Yeah. Okay, we'll just skip that one.
Woodstock.
This I don't know. It's kind of like looks like a beta fish or a
Yeah.
fish maybe of some sort. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a beta fish.
Yeah. John Pickering, you write down what you think it is. Some kind of mushroom, maybe. I don't know. Are there any more?
There might be. Let me see here. What do we got left? No, that's it. We're out.
That's it? Okay. Anyhow, that's one of the more popular sections on Reddit. I think it's in the section what's my thing called, or what's this thing called? Yeah. They have a lot of just people posting crap they find going, what in the world is this? Okay, have you ever heard of Williams syndrome?
No.
Okay, Williams syndrome apparently is known as the friendly syndrome. So it's a syndrome that you get. It's actually a genetic disorder. It makes you overly friendly.
Is that so bad?
No, I don't know. I think maybe it's a good thing. But apparently they did a study, and they've been puzzled over this for a while because there is some physical defects with it. But apparently they found a causal genetic relationship to dogs, to why dogs are so friendly. It's a similar genetic situation.
So it's the dog gene.
Well, dogs are really like, you get a golden lab and they're just,
all over you.
all over. They're just friendly. Yeah, they're kind of a little gullible, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's apparently a rare human syndrome, and it may explain why dogs are so friendly. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but you can look it up. It's pretty interesting.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah. When you just wake up, you don't think anything's interesting. You're just kind of like, where am I?
Yeah, for the first
I feel like
3 hours.
I feel like I'm dreaming right now. Like I'm not even awake. But it says puppyish zeal for social interaction. Now, scientists have found the extreme friendliness in both species may share a common genetic roots. There you go. We'll just keep it there.
Very
Third
cool.
grade level.
Nice nugget.
Yeah, but apparently there's like 20. There's some missing chunk of the containing about 27 genes. It's just all messed up.
Wow. So bizarre.
Can you imagine that was the most interesting thing I could find?
Well, I've never heard of it. I think
Oh,
it's pretty
that's good.
interesting.
Oh, great. I need to be fined. I just left my phone on.
Nah, you're fine.
All right. Now I have to scroll past my cookie cutters since you kind of
Yeah, I just biffed it.
Went right in there. And then I thought, well, it's still Christmas week. Maybe we should do some funny stuff. So I picked out a few clips, right?
Right.
For some bad, unfunny, untold clips.
Perfect.
You want to get... That's probably the funniest part of this whole section. Was that little open?
I love it. I love that open.
You do? Good.
It's excited.
I like the meerkat with the sunglasses.
Yes.
He's kind of cool. Anyhow, so go ahead and play this one. Sounds fine. It's pretty short. You got to put the sound up, man.
What is your go-to face to ruin a photo? Solid.
Yeah.
I love the way the guy goes, just play it again.
What is your go-to face to ruin a photo?
And of course, your thing locks up anyhow.
Solid.
Yeah.
What's going on with your connection?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to call my internet company. This
Yeah,
is
I'd say
ridiculous.
you're wrecking my clips with your frozen line. It was me who was always bad. Now it's you. All right, the next one is sounds fine, but you got to clip. You got to like jump ahead because this is insanity. You know those blow up things, those decorations
Yeah.
that you buy at Menards. So you just skip ahead right to like the middle, I guess. If you can. Sounds fine. You got to put the sound up.
The amount of blow-ups here. First of all, who came
Just
and
watch
like
this.
actually placed all these? I mean, so many. And this is the back of their property, and it goes all the way up to their house.
Yeah, just wait.
Like, what's this electric bill? And where's the extension cords? Like that, I'm so curious. It's like I don't see extension cords. I know they have to have something powering them. Is it in the trees? And it's gotten a lot bigger.
This goes
than
on
last
for
year,
as
but it's
far
pretty
as the
cool
eye
for
can
neighborhood,
see,
so
Alex.
kids, I'm sure, can come in here and walk around and see. Oh yeah, there's a little path. But if you're, and
I was
think
thinking of
older
buying
ones,
one,
too, so,
right?
like, they've been
Just
collecting
one.
these for a while.
To entertain the
Some
grandkids.
old blow ups back there. Oh my gosh, they got the polar bear from Coca-Cola. You know what those are. And then here they are here. We're getting up to the house. We haven't even made it to the house
Keep it
yet.
going.
And now we're coming up to the house. This is
Goodness
if you're ever looking
nuts.
for a blow up and you can't find it, it's probably here.
Oh my
Look at some of these
gosh.
older ones too.
I would say
is
somebody's
the main
obsessed.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And there goes your internet locking up. I think you just need a reboot.
Going and going.
Yeah, I rebooted it before the show.
All right. So now we're going to play the next one, which is the traditional bad dad jokes.
Let's see.
There we go. Sound got to go up.
Does the man in the moon get a haircut? Does the man in the moon get a haircut?
Oh, well.
He clips it.
Why does the man in the moon get a haircut? He eclipses it.
Oh, he eclipsed it.
What do you call a mobster who's buried in cement?
I don't know.
A hardened criminal.
Oh. Why did Beethoven get rid of his chickens?
What?
All he said was bark, 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 bark.
Oh.
Those weren't even a little funny,
Did
were
you
they?
hear about the guy whose left side was cut off? He's all right now.
No, that one was kind of funny. Okay, that's enough of that crap. I can't tell if you're frozen or not frozen.
I'm not frozen.
That's good. All right, so we all depend on what's one thing we depend on every single day? We all depend on our cars, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
what's the main thing that gets us going with a car? It's the tires.
Exactly.
And how much does anybody really know about tires? You ever thought much about tires? No.
No, never.
You take them for granted, don't you?
Yeah.
Just like everybody else takes those damn tires for granted. So I thought we would do a little fun trivia on tires.
Perfect.
You're thinking, oh God, this is boring. I just
No.
Okay. So when do you think the first pneumatic tire was made? What year? First American. Please play along, people in the chat.
1920s.
Try to keep an eye on it. Alex is saying 1920s with the first blow-up tire. And everybody knows Alex is wrong. Everybody knows Alex is wrong. It was 1847.
Oh, man.
Yep. 107 years ago.
Oh.
Was the first pneumatic tire. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
By the way, your grandfather was one of the first people to actually recycle tires back in the 20s, 1920s.
That is so cool.
He was one of the first recyclers. Because tires weren't very good back then. They blew out, the inner tubes blew out really quick. They didn't last much. Just thought I'd throw that personal information in there.
That's a little extra trivia.
Yeah, see, we were in the beer business. We made beer.
Yeah.
The high chicks made beer. But then Prohibition, ching, shut everything down.
Put that to an end.
So poor Grandpa, he didn't know what to do.
Right.
So he thought, oh, he just saw piles of tires everywhere. And he goes, what can I make out of those? So he made products.
That's so cool.
And sold products. Yep.
Recycling.
Isn't that cool? One of the first recyclers before there was even a word.
That's awesome.
There wasn't even a word to describe what he did. Okay. The largest production tire is about how tall? What's the biggest production tire made?
Like 20 feet.
20 feet. It's 14 feet.
Okay.
You're an overachiever today. And it weighs 12,500 pounds.
That
Rubber's
is
quite
incredible.
quite heavy. And there's a lot of like steel belting. Okay, moving on. Who's the biggest tire manufacturer in the world? No one will get this. Not in a million
Goodyear?
years. No, it's Lego.
It's Lego, really?
Yeah, Lego makes more tires than 300 million tires produced each year by Lego.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Of course, it's kind of cheating, though, because they make tiny little.
Yeah, it's cheating.
The
but
trick question.
But they're in the world. Guinness.
Yeah.
You got to talk to
It's-
Guinness about that.
It's a lot of tires.
Yep.
It's a lot of tires.
Okay. The contact surface between the average tire, passenger tire, and the road is how big? Find a comparative. How big would it
Like
be?
the size of a DVD.
Pretty good. It's the size of a postcard. I'll give you that one. How big you? I will get you on that one. Somehow our audience is still stuck on Bigfoot holding a gun. Is your chat frozen?
Let me see. 3 inches. 6. No, I got some on tiny tires.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, there, it just unlocked. My chat was like frozen.
I've seen it happen before.
Now it's unfrozen. So yeah, John Ayers was the last comment. So about 3 inches. I think he meant inches.
Yeah. 3
You typed too
inches.
quick. 3 inches. Incies.
Close
Okay.
enough.
So how many tire plants are there in the entire world? How many companies make tires?
Yeah, it's like 1,000.
1,000. There's only 450.
Oh, that's not a lot.
No, it's not. That's kind of scary. It's really not many at all. Legos doesn't count.
No, it doesn't.
So tires are black for a reason. A lot of people probably don't know this, but there's a reason tires are black. Do you know why?
It's not the rubber.
Yeah, do you know why? Well, of course, it's the rubber. The rubber could be any color. Synthetic rubber starts out clear.
Yeah, that's true.
So why is it black?
I don't know.
Why is it black? Because carbon black is an ingredient that strengthens the molecular structure So black tires are stronger than red tires.
Okay.
Like,
That makes sense.
The early days before they didn't know that, tires were white.
They were.
Yeah, cars, bikes, everything, they were white. I actually have a bike with white tires.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's different.
What's different?
Having white tires. It's unique.
You're killing me.
What?
Okay. Tires mounted on either, is it the front or the rear, wear out quicker?
I want to say the rear.
You're right. The one that's powered wears out tires quicker. It's good. Are you cheating?
I mean, I had a 1 out of 2 chance.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. A 20% underinflated tire, right? So it's 20% underinflator will reduce its lifespan by how much?
3 times.
50%.
Still a lot.
Yeah, it is quite a bit. Most car manufacturers do not manufacture their own wheels. Boring?
No.
I thought it was kind of a boring fact. Okay, the first winter tire was produced in what year? So we don't do winter tires anymore. Back when I was a kid, when some of our audience was children, they'll remember their dad going, "Yeah, gotta get the winter tires on."
1960s?
So bad. Yeah, well, there's something happened in the 60s. It was 1934
Okay.
by Cayenne Company. They developed the first snow tire. But in the 60s was the first studded tire.
So
yeah, they were like revolutionary.
So you telling me I get half a point for that?
Yeah, you get a half a point. But they outlawed studded tires for the roads because they, where the roads
They would just destroy them, right?
Yeah. A lot of people would put studded tires on. They're like, well, why do I need to take them off? They use them all year.
Just ruin the roads.
Mm-hmm. And ruin the road.
Then they complain about road construction.
Yep. The wheel was invented how many years ago? The wheel. Because you can't have a tire without inventing the wheel first.
We're gonna go way back.
When was the wheel invented?
8,000 years.
Don't say caveman times.
Caveman times. 8,000. 8,000.
8,000 years ago was the wheel?
Yeah.
Anybody else want to guess on that? No, nobody wants to guess. It was 5,500 years ago was the wheel.
5,000?
Yep. Earliest, record of the wheel.
Okay. I'm only 3,000 off.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting. Space shuttle tires. How big do you think they are?
Space shuttle tires?
Yeah. How big?
4 feet.
It says here they're just the size of a truck, good sized truck tire. But they cost a lot more. They cost $5,000 a piece.
That is expensive.
Yep, and the space shuttle used 6 of them. Well, manufactured by Michelin. And they were filled with what? You can fill. You don't have to use just oxygen or air, atmospheric air. You can put what else in the tire? Anybody know? Susan said she's not doing very well with this trivia. At least you're trying, Susan.
Helium.
It's nitrogen.
Nitrogen.
Yep, Stefan got that. All right.
Oil. Steve said.
Pump
them full of oil.
And then run flat tires, apparently, I know I had run flat tires on my Corvette. And that's if you get a flat, you can still run it for, a short time. Called run flat tires. And they were developed in the let's see here. I don't know. Can't find. Oh, they were developed in the 30s. Run flat tires. Yep. That's about all. That's enough of that crap, I think.
Enough of that crap.
I'm looking. Official monster truck tires are 66 inches tall. If you're building a monster truck, they have to be at least 66 inches tall. Each tire costs $2,500.
Jesus.
So if you're going to build a monster truck, you're going to need, 10 grand worth of tires.
That's brutal.
Yeah. How many okay, this is the last one. How many tires are scrapped every year?
Scrapped every year?
Yep. How many are scrapped?
30 million?
13 billion.
Whoa! That's an insane amount.
13 billion tires. Yep.
Too
there
many.
we go. All right. So enough of that.
I like Steve's answer. Too many.
Too many?
Too many. That's a good answer.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
Did you say?
Although I'm looking at the way this is written, and it could be 13 million. But I think it's 13 billion. I don't know. Sometimes these facts are kind of written weird. So I'm claiming the fifth on that.
Fake news.
Could be fake news. Anyhow, enough of that. I thought that was, Now, how do I come up with these trivia topics?
How do you do it?
Oh my God.
How do you do it?
How do I do
Daddy?
it? I just look around me. All right. I like to do it on common things.
Yeah.
Because that's usually the things people know the least about.
Yeah. That we take for granted.
Yeah, we just take them for granted. So what will I pick next? All right, let's go to my clips. I think I've got some really cool clips. Certainly clips, I've got a lot of weird animals. If you like weird animals and some weird science.
Let's hit it.
There's one animal in here I cannot wait to show you. I'm actually excited because it's so crazy. All right. Why? Okay, so let's just hang on. So, in New York, you have the high stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Is it because of pests?
Pests?
Yeah.
Like what kind of pests?
Mice.
Would be able to, huh?
Mice.
Mice? Okay, so just officially just state this. Alex thinks New York has high stairways to lead into the houses because of mice. Okay. John Ayers says rats. Go ahead and play the clip.
Okay.
New York City and many cities around the world, they have steps going up to the first floor. Well, it's a pretty gross thing. You see, in New York City and many other cities around the world, horses were the main mode of transportation for basically all of history. And what do horses do? They poop. They poop a lot. And so in New York City, there was 200,000 horses at their high point. 200,000 horses produce 5 million pounds of manure every day, which means people didn't want to be directly in it. So they built those stairs to get away from it.
Okay.
It got so bad in New York City and how disgusting this all was.
Is enough of that crap?
Yeah.
Literally?
See, that's the literal. So I meant that literally. That's enough of that crap. So that next to your mice thing.
Okay, that's to do with an animal.
The sound is good. I'm curious whether anybody in the audience and in the future, you can put it in the comments. Have you ever seen like a number of orbs connected that seem to be locked together like this. Go ahead and play this.
Okay, this is interesting.
Taking a video of it,
And I have seen this.
right? Ooh, there's another one in front of it. 4.
There's 4?
Yeah. Do you see the one right ahead of it?
But
It's
see
like
how they all
rotating.
like rotate? Kind of like they're locked together. As if there's an
Isn't that neat?
invisible force holding them
Taking a
together.
video of it,
Yeah.
right? Ooh, there's another one in front of it. 4.
But I want to know, what are orbs?
Yeah.
What do
You
they
see
do?
The one right ahead of it.
Are
It's
they
like
alive?
rotating.
What's their purpose? So obviously nobody in them. Think there's little
Isn't that neat?
Martians riding around in the orbs, Alex?
It's so weird.
Do you think there's maybe little orbs or little people
Taking a
in those
video of
orbs?
it,
It might be, yeah.
right?
You
Ooh,
think
there's another
little
one in front of it.
people? Alex, just for the official record, Alex think there could be little
Yeah.
aliens
You see
in
the
the
one
little
right ahead of
orbs.
it?
Yes.
It's like rotating.
Little, like in Men in Black.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, we all saw that movie.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah. This is where Alex got his education on the paranormal. The Men in Black. Oh my God. You're killing me. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Oh my God.
Is this a cake?
So it's Flat says I was asking that today, Doug. Orbs that are the size of craft. What the heck are they? Yeah, I don't know. All right, so this is one of these crazy, beautiful creatures. It's just nuts. Complex, simple, crazy, gorgeous. Play it. Some obviously kind of jellyfish. But it's just insane.
It is really bizarre.
Yeah.
It just looks so alien.
Play jump to 3B, clip 3B. This thing's called the Gulper eel. This thing is the number one, right? This is my most bizarre animal the entire year, is the Gulper eel.
Sound or no sound?
No sounds needed. I mean, yeah, but go ahead and play this sound.
The Gulper eel.
So it like eats its own body.
It's so alien.
Back it up.
Its giant, extendable mouth can engulf prey larger than its own body.
Watch it go back to normal. Jeez. Isn't that bizarre?
2 miles down, you
And
finally
that's
reach
all right.
the
Yeah,
ocean
that's enough of that.
floor.
They're just talking about how some types of octopuses, their eggs incubate for 10 years.
10 years. That's a long time.
Yeah, can you imagine laying eggs and waiting 10 years for your kids to be born?
Jesus.
If you ever go to somebody's house and you see eggs like glued to the ceiling, run. Just get the hell out of that house, right?
I know, right? Get out.
Okay. Clip 3A. This is just a beautiful small, it's a sea snail, but it's just insane. Go ahead and play it. Yeah, no sound. Isn't that cool? It's like, why? We really do live in an amazing world with all these crazy animals.
Oh, yeah. The alien life is all
So what'd you
around
think of
us.
my Gulper eel?
Spooky looking.
Is that weird? His mouth just kind of wraps around his whole body. Who comes up with that? Oh my God. Okay, clip 4 sounds fine. I think we may need to invest in our train system, and I think everybody will agree. We need to invest in our trains because we are screwed. Go ahead and play this. This isn't the shape. Oh, Alex has got problems again.
Yeah, I'll be debugging my internet. Oh no.
That's just, I mean, there's no excuse for this, right? The thing wasn't going fast. It's dangerous. I mean, it's just pathetic. In this day and age, we have not put a penny into our rail system. Nothing. For passengers or, you know. Yeah, we've built these little commuter trains that are complete garbage too. You know, it's unplanned, slow. Then we have that. Anyhow, it's enough of my complaining. Okay, clip 5, sound is not good. No sound. But this is like just an incredible horse. It's called a gypsy horse. People not familiar with this breed of horse. Go ahead and play it. Look at this thing. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, super cool. We play that one more time. Or not.
Or not. Locked up. Oh, that's sad.
Oh, there we go.
Just decided to do it on its own. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we have a lot of beautiful creatures. Have you ever heard of a hedge apple, Alex?
No, what is that?
You don't know what a hedge apple is? How about monkey balls?
Monkey balls?
Yeah.
I mean, I have an idea what that is.
Okay, go ahead and play this.
I call these horse apples. Others, for reasons.
Oh.
My gosh.
I think we all need to take a collection up and get Alex.
Might call these horse apples. Others, for reasons I'm not sure I care to know, might call them monkey balls. But around here, we call them hedge apples, and there's a good historical reason for it. The hedge apple is the fruit of the Osage orange tree, like this one, also known as bowwood, because indigenous Americans in the past, and even people still today, use its wood to make incredibly strong bows. But until the invention of barbed wire in the 1860s, the Osage orange had another purpose. You see, Osage orange is actually native to the southern United States, but because it grows fast, has thorns, and because its branches tend to intertwine together if it grows close to another Osage orange tree, the seeds and saplings were brought north so that they could be planted close together in straight lines to serve as an affordable, natural barrier or fence, also known as a hedge. Hence the name, hedge apple. Now, this practice essentially became obsolete when barbed wire fencing became more popular. And these trees don't have a particularly long lifespan, so there aren't very many of these hedges left.
It's interesting.
It's a weird thing.
What's weird?
The shape of that thing.
The hedge apple?
Yeah.
Well, I thought of the fact that we didn't have, you know, you don't think about that one before we had barbed wire. What would you do? Keep your cattle in and your...
You got to use the hedge apples.
Yeah, see, now you know.
The more you
John
know.
goes, spiders hate them? Huh, interesting. Why do spiders hate hedge apples? I didn't know. All right. Clip 7 is super, super interesting. Now, apparently this is real footage. I've listened to this guy's testimony. He was one of the people that testified in front of Congress, right?
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and listen to this story. It's very much worth listening to. It's just amazing footage. Go ahead and play this. Sounds
At the end
good.
of the frame came something else. It flew into the frame like this, and it shot a beam of light at the warhead, which is represented by my thumb here. Now, remember, all this stuff is flying at several thousand miles an hour. So this thing fires a beam of light at the warhead, hits it, and then this thing flies up like this. Meanwhile, we're all going like this, fires another beam of light, goes around like this, we're going like this, fires another beam of light, goes down like this, fires another beam of light, and then flies out the way it came in. And the warhead tumbles out of space. Now, I saw that. I don't give a goddamn what anybody else says about it. I saw that on film. Phil Klass can kiss my ass. He wasn't there. I was. Now, when the lights came on, Major Mansman turned around and looked at me and said, "Were you guys screwing around up there?" And I said, "No, sir." And he said, "What was that?" And I said, "It looks to me like we got a UFO."
Wow.
What do you think? Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that clip?
No, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's pretty
wild.
amazing. Obviously, they're capable of taking our warheads down. Sure, it'd be nice if that ever happens that they do.
Yeah, I would hope
Jeez.
so.
I wouldn't count on it, though. Anyhow, clip 8. Transforming cars may be closer than you think. Check this concept car out.
When the tire moves. Look at it opening up there.
It's patterned after a snake.
It opens up when the tire moves.
That's so weird. How long is that going to last?
Well, that's what you're going to do, Alex. You're going to just go from your Toyota, right?
To a snake
your
car?
1982 Toyota. Boom, you're going to make the quantum jump right to a snake car. Right?
Right.
Alex will surprise everybody. You just
Exactly.
wait. That's what I think.
It opens up.
All right. Thought that was somewhat interesting.
So we got a couple more clips left, and then Craig's in the back room.
Good.
Can't wait to have him
Can't
on.
wait to talk to Craig. Clip 9. Sound is good. And this is, by the way, this was a very good friend of mine, Lloyd Pye, is featured in this. Lloyd was a really cool thing, and he had a skull called the Star Child skull that I did in Monster Quest. And we did one of the only reconstructions of the Star Child skull. And one of the ideas I had is to test the bone hardness. And so I used my durometer meter to test the hardness. And it was way harder than normal bone. Because it was not a fossil. So everybody, later on, look up Monster Quest, the one we did on the Star Child. Anyhow, Lloyd Pye, he's passed on. Super cool guy, loved him, and I was just, almost in tears when I saw this clip. Go ahead and play it.
Lloyd Pye pointed out this really weird thing about humans. Humans have 46 chromosomes and all primates have 48. All primates on Earth.
Didn't know that.
Every single primate has 48 chromosomes. It has to do with packages of DNA, basically. What they found within the human Homo sapiens sapien was that there was something within our DNA where parts of it had been altered.
Not a good place for your thing to lock up. No.
So what is
Sorry,
what else?
folks.
Yeah, sorry guys. What does he talk about? What?
Don't put me on the spot.
Sapiens sapien was that there was something within our DNA where parts of it have been altered. What they call those alterations and those things that scientists don't know, they call it junk DNA. Because when they compared every other comparable thing on Earth genetically, they found this small little area within our genetics that doesn't match anything on the planet.
There we go. It's our junk DNA. I think it helps when I shut my camera off. All right, clip 10. This is some type of a strange sport. I don't know what it is, so don't ask me. But this looks pretty well developed.
Let's see.
It's like some form of golf. If anybody knows, please put it in the comments. What in the world is this guy doing? I would not want to get hit with that club.
No.
Let's go ahead and watch this.
Whoa.
I would imagine there's a projectile.
Yeah.
White golf. Does anybody know what this is?
It's fish golf.
Fish golf.
Yeah, he's
Why
casting.
Why did you call it? Oh, he's casting.
Look, he's casting, and it's golf. Watch, he's gonna cast.
Okay. Anyhow, enough of that.
So we're gonna go to quick break, and we'll have Craig.
I am done with my dumb stuff. I'm done. You're
done.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
can go to take your little quick break.
All right, let's do it.
Hello and Happy New Year to everybody out there in Untold Radio Land. This is Brendan Brown, host of the fastest 30 minutes in the cryptid world, This Week in Bigfoot. Here's what we got coming up on this Sunday show for New Year's Eve. 3 Canadian teams are hoping to tackle the Bigfoot mystery using a massive trail camera array in central Ontario. And we've got all the details of this ambitious project. Mike Lucci breaks down the latest Montana trail cam photo and recaps the top 5 Bigfoot sightings of the year 2023. And Snowwalker Prime kicks the year out the door with the year's final 2 minutes with. These stories and a whole lot more for a special New Year's Eve show on the next This Week in Bigfoot this Sunday at 6:15, only on CARC Universal. You better be there.
Hey, Untold Radio Network fans. Want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
Anyhow, we're back. That was quick.
Yeah.
This week in Bigfoot looks good this week. I mean, it always looks good, but it looks extremely good. Stellar?
Yes.
Anyhow, I don't even know where to start on Mr. Woolheater.
Right?
There's so much stuff. And he's got a new conference too. And
of course.
Is it April? Why don't you introduce Craig? I'm too out of it.
Greg.
There he is.
Howdy, guys.
Crypto Mundo, Texas Bigfoot Conference, one of the original Bigfoot conferences in the country. Craig is a researcher, historian, all around.
Great guy.
All around. Yeah, there you go. All around great guy. I'm out of it, Craig.
What's wrong, Doug?
Sick. Still
Oh, no.
sick.
What do you
Alex
got?
is sick too now. With
Yeah.
some kind of grunge.
Yeah. Went over to the families.
Yep.
Got it from somebody.
You got it. Somebody.
I hugged the wrong person.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have the high check hack, huh?
We have the high check hack. There you go.
Yep.
So explain what the Fouke Monster Festival is, Craig. Let's start there.
Well, going back to when I was a young child, I did see the Legend of Boggy Creek, a very influential movie. I may have been a teen because it went national distribution in '73. So I was probably 13 when I saw it, but it was just a really cool movie. The fact that it was, took place down here in the South, not far from where I live, And, you can talk to many Bigfooters nowadays and ask them, what got them into Bigfoot or cryptozoology. And I've we've done it at conferences, ask the people in attendance, how many of them, were influenced by that movie to be interested in the subject. And well over 50% of the people raise their hands. I mean, it's just something that.
Well, I know, but really, I mean, the production quality wasn't that great on that movie, but it really scared people.
Well, it was filmed as originally was a straight documentary, but then it became, more of a docudrama, I guess.
Yeah,
and
docutainment.
A lot of people, including filmmakers today, were influenced by this film. A good friend of mine, Eduardo Sanchez, who made directed the Blair Witch Project, was heavily influenced by the Legend of Boggy Creek to make the Blair Witch Project. And he went on to, in my opinion, make the finest Bigfoot movie ever, called Exists, that came out in 2014. That was just a phenomenal movie. A $2 million budget, and a good portion of that was for the suit that they used in that movie, which was just excellent. It was all practical effects. There wasn't any CGI, and it was just a great Bigfoot movie. And
But why do you think it was so scary?
I don't know. I mean, it certainly scared me as a kid. I was in Boy Scouts, and we, go out camping in the woods and such. And it just made you think about what may be out there. Certainly down here in the South, I mean, Bigfoot wasn't pervasive as it is up in the Pacific Northwest, certainly with, the Patterson film in '67, and, just lots of legends and lore, Native American stuff about Sasquatch. And so it, brought it to a new front here down in the South, southeast of the United States. And so it was just, something, really cool. It was close to home. It's really a mecca for Bigfoot enthusiasts. I mean, they have they're at the Monster Mart in Fouke. They have a sign-in book for people. And I believe that, I'm sure all 50 states and probably every continent other than Antarctica is represented from visitors in that book. I mean, it's just something really cool. And so, I started doing the event myself back in 2019. So this coming year will be the 6th annual event that I've done there, just because it meant so much to me as a kid growing up and then getting involved in the field, that there had been several iterations, going back, of local events celebrating the movie and, the Fouke Monster itself, or, Boggy Creek Monster, as some people call it. But the last event that had been there, it left, and last event was in 2015. And, I host the Texas Bigfoot Conference in Jefferson, which is only an hour away from Fouke. And
Craig, okay, I got to interrupt you. Do you still collect data on new Fouke Monster sightings?
Well, actually, my good buddy, probably my very best friend, Lyle Blackburn, he follows up on all of these reports. He really gets all the reports submitted to him. He has really got his, finger on the pulse there of what's going on in Fouke. He's written 3 books about it: The Beast of Boggy Creek, and the Boggy Creek case files. And he talks to all of these people that are still seeing things out there. I mean, it's not just something that happened in the 60s and 70s, but it's still still takes place these days. That people see strange upright hair covered beings out there, and his name is out there, especially there in town. And so he gets a lot of these things reported to him, and he follows up on them and investigates them and talks to the people. So, it's stuff that's still going on.
Yeah. Now, you had a sighting yourself back in, what was it, the 80s?
1994. 1994.
Oh, okay. Do you want to just go ahead and briefly tell us your experience, Craig? Because I would imagine that was life-changing.
Well, sure it was. I mean, I wouldn't be talking to you guys, I bet, if it hadn't happened to me. Because even though I was interested as a kid and growing up, like with the Legend of Boggy Creek and a local creature called the Lake Worth Monster and such. But in 1994, I had taken a trip on a Memorial Day weekend with a group of friends. There were 12 of us total and 5 vehicles that went. And, being in 1994, this is, pre-GPS, pre Google Maps, pre-MapQuest, pre-anything. You probably even pre-Alex Hijack.
I think it was pre-spare tire too.
It probably wasn't pre your automotive manufacturing company, but we went down for the weekend with friends. There were, like I said, 5 cars. We just plotted our course on a road map on how we were going to go to get there. And so we set out from the Dallas area about 5:30 on Friday morning of Memorial Day weekend, and just followed our route that we had plotted. And on the way there, by the time we got to central Louisiana, where the sighting actually took place, it was mid-morning that Friday. So, it was just like we were out in the, out in the swampy country. But we stayed all weekend, and then coming back, everybody had different times they needed to be back in town. So everybody left at different times on Monday. My car with myself, my girlfriend, and a friend who lived in the same building I did, we didn't leave until about 9 o'clock Monday night. Myself or my girlfriend, neither one of us had to work Tuesday, so we weren't in any hurry to get back. So my friend had to work, but she slept in the back seat overnight. And as we're coming back, what was a pleasant drive in the country going down during mid-morning, now was just a creepy, unlit road out in the middle of nowhere that was surrounded by woods and swamps and such. And so we're driving, probably about 11 to 11:30 at night, and we were on this, like I said, unlit two-lane road, heading back towards Shreveport, Louisiana, and on to Dallas. And in my headlights, off to the right of the road, we see an upright figure, in the headlights. And as we're approaching, probably 70 miles an hour, we see it for, I don't even know. I probably need to time that. Of course, I'd have to use like 1991 sealed beam halogen headlights. But, maybe 6, 7, 8 seconds. And as we get closer, we see much more detail. As we passed it, it was on her side of the vehicle and I was driving, but as we passed it, we both looked at each other and simultaneously said, "Did you just see what I just saw?" And we agreed that we had. And I said, "Well, what did you see?" And she goes, "I think I saw a Bigfoot." And I agreed. And I was like, we've got to stop to check this out. And she was vehemently opposed to that. as we were driving a little soft top SUV with the top rolled up because it was May 30th of 1994 and it was very pleasant outside. So we kept driving. We soon entered a very small town called Bunkie, Louisiana. And, it was 11:30 at night on a Monday night, Memorial Day. The town was, sidewalks were rolled up. There was nothing going on, nothing open, nobody out. So we drove slowly through town. And on the way out of town, we saw a small church on the side of the road. So we pulled into the parking lot there and stopped for about 10 or 15 minutes and talked about, the experience that we had. And then we got back on the road. We didn't really talk about it on the way home. We had already talked about it, in the car. Yeah. And then once we got home, we didn't really talk about it. I mean, it was just something, weird that, that we experienced. But
well, how far off the road was it?
It was no more than about 20 feet, Doug. It was just right there. I mean, there was a tree line about 30 feet there. And
but your headlights illuminated this thing.
Sure. The headlights illuminated. I had the bright lights on because, like I said, there was no oncoming traffic, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. And
was it facing you or facing away?
It was walking parallel to the road with its back to it.
Yeah.
So it didn't deviate from its path. It didn't look up. It didn't do anything. It just continued on its pathway. It was walking. I had the. I don't know if you've ever interviewed Sibylla Irwin.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Well, she's an excellent eyewitness sketch artist, and she drew. I should have sent it to you. Drew what the description of what we saw, and it's really spot on. From what we saw, I mean, it was fairly indistinct. I mean, we saw no facial features but we saw hair-covered arms, legs, torso, head, and, it was moving. It wasn't stationary. So, I mean, I always say I don't know 100% what it was, but I know 100% what it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't a burned-out tree stump. It wasn't, a horse or a cow or any other livestock or wildlife. It wasn't a hunter in a ghillie suit. It wasn't, some prankster in a gorilla suit trying to prank somebody. I mean, it was about 7 foot tall and covered with hair and walking. And, this is, almost 30 years ago. So ironically, what's really cool about it is that the highway we were on at that time was Highway 71, which Highway 71 continues up through Louisiana and into Arkansas and is the highway that goes right through Fouke, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it's actually called Monster Highway in Fouke, Arkansas, but it's the same highway just down in the Louisiana below Arkansas. But, I really didn't, know what to do about it back then. I was still, and Alex is really going to find this unbelievable. I was still 3 years from getting internet access at that time. So, I mean, as opposed to Alex and kids nowadays, are born with a tablet in their hand, it seems. But when I did get internet,
I grew up with that hyperspeed dial-up.
Well, there was no dial-up at all when I was a kid.
I know.
I can still hear the modem.
Yeah,
connecting. The screeching. But
so, is there generally an agreed physical difference between southern Bigfoots and northern, ones?
Well,
is there anything
there's all
different?
kinds of, there's lumpers and splitters out there. There's people that'll tell you, show you a chart and say, these are the 8 different types of Sasquatch, and, I personally, I think that without a body to examine, that's just ludicrous to try to tell people that there's, different types of, species or whatever. I mean, I think that it's my first personal opinion with no, actual evidence of, proof of evidence, is that, it's an undiscovered, primate that seems to, walk upright most of the time.
Yeah, I do wonder though if Bergman's law, where the farther you go north, the bigger the animals are.
Sure.
I do wonder about that. If they're bigger
I'm
up in Canada.
I'm a firm believer in that. I mean, you can look at white-tailed deer here in Texas and look at the ones like up in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and they're twice as big.
Yeah.
And it's the same animal, the same species, the same thing. It's just that they're adapted to their environment. I mean, I think that's the difference, because down here they are generally not described as huge as they are in the Pacific Northwest. The average description down here is, sometimes even, under 6 feet, but, 5 to 7 feet, maybe some taller, but the average is in that range. And I think that, down here and in the swamps and the humidity and the heat in the summer times, I mean, if you had something that, was as huge as the Pacific Northwest Sasquatch with, thick fur and hair and all that, boy, that thing would sweat its ass off down here in the sweaty summer for sure. So,
well, last time we had you on, Craig, we did talk about why would Texas be such a hot spot? Why would Arkansas be such a hot spot for Bigfoots? Is there enough moisture there?
Sure. I mean, here where I live, we have average annual rainfall of over 50 inches a year.
Wow.
John Green had a theory that, the majority of Sasquatch reports were in areas with, average annual rainfall of 20 inches a year. But, we're talking, over 50 inches a year here in the 4-state region of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. We have more combined in that 4-state region where they come together there, more forested region than in the whole state of Oregon. The things you need for any wildlife is food, water source, and cover, and that's abundant here in the piney woods of East Texas and the big thicket of Southeast Texas. There's abundance of rainfall and vegetation cover, and like they say in the Legend of Boggy Creek, he always travels the creek. That's one of the first things we found. So
yeah, definitely. I think almost everybody can agree on that one fact. These things like water.
Yeah,
they need water. Their sightings happen near water. It's a very, very consistent fact that, to me, is one of the major things that points to their existence.
Correct.
Because if they were just as spurious, made up sightings, that wouldn't always happen near water.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
no one's seen these things in the desert.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, very, very, very rarely. I mean,
but they'll be by like the Rio Grande River.
They're seen. The majority of the sightings here in Texas are in the eastern third of the state, which is, heavily forested, not that populated. Again, abundant rainfall. There are sightings out in West Texas. Rarely, but as Doug stated, they're near waterways, rivers, creeks, lakes, streams. They have to have that. I mean, any wildlife is going to have cover, and again, water source nearby and food source. And here in Northeast Texas, especially, it's abundant.
Interesting. So, what's the latest and greatest sighting that you've heard down in your neck of the woods?
Well, there's always something going on here. I mean, even here, where I live, where I host the Texas Bigfoot Conference in Jefferson, it's the the Bigfoot capital of Texas. We're very, very, very near Caddo Lake, which is the only natural lake in the state of Texas. Every other lake here is a man-made reservoir. And just a couple months ago, there was something that I actually saw it on Facebook to begin with, but the neighboring counties sheriff's department on their Facebook page posted that somebody had called the sheriff's department that they had a picture of Bigfoot that was on their on their trail camera there, no more than about 15 minutes from here where I live. So I actually followed up with the sheriff's department and asked them about it. And, I asked, if I needed to file a Freedom of Information Act to find out the information. And they said no, that, they had passed that on to one of the local game wardens with Texas Parks and Wildlife. And so they took my information down and gave him that information. And he called me that evening and we spoke for a while. And he said that, he had seen the photograph. He wasn't an expert. He wasn't a wildlife biologist or anything. But he said it was certainly interesting. And he was in the process of passing it on to the wildlife biologist at Texas Parks and Wildlife for their opinion on it. So it picked up traction because, like I said, it was posted on Facebook. So, I posted an update, shared the original post from the Harrison County Sheriff's Department, and then my update on it. I haven't followed up with him, but I need to see if there was an official determination, that they were willing to make public. I never publicized who he was. I told him that, I wouldn't publicize his name or anything, so he didn't get harassed. But, so there's always stuff going on. I mean, there's people reporting stuff. Get a lot of people that, have road crossing experiences, see something late at night that looks very large, crosses the road very fast in front of them or even behind them. But there's been, over the years, lots of sightings right here in the area. And interesting enough, that isn't why the Texas Bigfoot Conference is in Jefferson. It really doesn't have anything to do with the history of sightings or anything. It's just that when I decided to host the event, the very first one back 4 days after 9/11 on September 15th, 2001, my parents lived here in town, had a bed and breakfast, and my mom was on the events committee for the Bed and Breakfast Association. So when I decided to host an event, I actually chose the area because of resources that I had. And it just turned out that it was such an excellent place for it to take place. So that is why Jefferson is the Bigfoot capital of Texas. Just back at the end of August, I wrote a county resolution and presented it here in Jefferson at the Marion County Commissioners Court meeting, that I proposed that Marion County, basically as in, I'm trying to think where it was. I know it was in 1969 in Washington State. They adopted a resolution that, for people to not, actually they had a fine attached to theirs, that people not to harass or harm or kill a Sasquatch. And so I basically did the same thing here for our county, basically making Marion County a safe haven for Bigfoot. And that got signed off by the county commissioner's court, as well as the Marion County judge. And so that was just a couple of months ago. So
it passed, right? It's part
yes,
of
it passed. It was approved and signed and
Very
put
cool.
into law.
Wasn't a publicity stunt. It was sincere.
Sure. I mean, I'm firmly in the no kill, no harm, no kill, no foul Bigfoot Sasquatch camp. That I personally agree that the quickest way to have them their existence proven would be with a body, but there's other ways to come across a body than to actually be the one who actually is out there to take one. There could be a body found. I'm waiting to get a phone call from a deer hunter that tells me, "Hey man, you're not going to believe this, but I accidentally shot a Bigfoot," and wanting to know what to do with it. But, it was a ceremonial resolution. It wasn't, there's no teeth in it. It's not binding that, if somebody were to shoot one, that they would be prosecuted or anything. It's just, for, like I said, ceremonial. It's the Bigfoot capital of Texas. There's a lot of Bigfoot events that go on here in this area. And so it was just something to, something else to identify it as, a Bigfoot haven here. There's lots of.
I've got a question about the Fouke area.
Sure.
Were there wild hogs way back in the 60s?
Oh, sure.
There were. So there was an established population of wild hogs in the 60s in Fouke and in East Texas.
Oh, yeah. They are.
Okay.
Here in Texas, they can be shot on sight. There's no hunting season.
No, I know now, but back in the 60s, were the wild hog problem, was it just as big?
Well, yeah, but, I don't know, I don't really know the specifics of where all the feral hogs came from. If they were, I know Russian boars were brought over at some point and, probably, crossbred with domestic hogs and, it created the explosion of them, but they're everywhere. And
can you look that up, Alex? I'm curious. When were wild hogs established, in Texas, East Texas, and like Fouke, Arkansas? See if we can dig up anything on that. I'm curious.
And I can certainly get you pass on people to have, if you'd like to have them as a guest on your show, like my good friend Chester Moore, who is speaking. He's a wildlife, he's Mr. Wildlife. I mean, he has conducted, Bigfoot research and investigations in the past, and but he's really about, strange and unusual wildlife, and is a hog expert. My good friend Lyle Blackburn, who I said, is the finger on the pulse of the Fouke Monster in Fouke, Arkansas, and he's also speaking at the event in April. But they are much more into the the known wildlife and the unknown wildlife, than necessarily I am.
I always just wonder that the hogs provide a big food source for these things down in your neck of the woods.
I'm sure they do. As in the Legend of Boggy Creek, there's a talk with a witness who claimed he had two of his prize hogs. He saw a creature pick one up under each arm and towed it over a fence and take off with them. So, I've investigated reports, a really good report down here in East Texas of a hog hunter who actually saw a Bigfoot attack a hog, a wild hog, and kill it and carry it off after it had killed it. So I mean, you know, I certainly think these things are opportunistic feeders. I mean, you know, I don't think they're strictly, you know, carnivores or omnivores. I think that they are herbivores. I mean, and I think they're omnivores, that they you know, take advantage of roadkill. There's, you know, we get reports of them eating roadkill, of them, you know, taking domestic livestock, you know, so, you know.
Craig.
Yes, sir.
How strong do you think they are? Like,
oh, well, look how strong a chimpanzee is. I mean, chimpanzees are, you know, I don't know what they're 5 to 10 times as strong as a human
5
male.
men.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, imagine a gorilla, how much stronger it would be than a chimpanzee, and then something along the size of a gorilla or even larger. You know, I imagine these things are strong enough that they could grab a hog or a deer and just rip its body in half. I mean,
Yeah, man. If a chimpanzee is 5 times stronger than the average man, what do you think? 25 times?
I don't
As a
know,
guess?
but I would say at least probably 10 times or more, if not, you know, not much more, but yeah, 10, 15, 20, 25, I would say so. They have, you know, much more muscle mass, and, you know,
Because
you
the
don't really
crazy
get
thing
them
is a chimp only weighs like 100 pounds.
Yeah, I know. An adult chimp is not even weighs as much as the average adult male. So, you know, you're talking, you know, maybe half the weight and 5 times the strength. So, I mean, you know, if you scaled up a chimp up into, you know, the size and muscle structure of an adult male, I mean, there's no telling how strong that would be. I mean, scary.
What do you think they weigh? 300 pounds? 400? I mean,
You know, the ones down here are generally described as, you know, in that weight range, 300, 400, 500 pounds, maybe. You know, in the Pacific Northwest, you know, they're estimated, you know, at far bulkier than, but again, like Doug was and I were discussing with Bergman's law, is it rule or a law, Doug?
Pardon?
Is Bergman's a rule or a law?
It's just a rule.
Okay. It's not like Murphy's Law.
No. It's just a rule. I mean,
Yeah.
generally, you know, the farther you go north, the bigger the body mass.
Yeah. So, I mean, it only makes sense that, you know, a Bigfoot down here versus what would be up in the Pacific Northwest or up into Canada, you know, would be, you know, far larger and bulkier and hairier, you know, to retain body heat. So, like
Is
I
there a
said,
certain time of year down in Texas that the sightings increase exponentially?
well, the thing that I like to say is that, you know, to have a Bigfoot sighting, there's 2 things that have to take place. One, there has to be a Bigfoot to be seen, and second, there has to be a person there to see it. So, you know, I think the sightings have a lot to do with when people are outdoors. You know, during the summer months, they are, you know, people are more outdoors, more apt to be outdoors and to see something that's outdoors. So, but you know, here in Texas, it can get unbearably hot. I mean, we had stretches of 110 plus this past summer. And with the humidity here, it's, you know, it gets pretty miserable. So I can't imagine what it would be like if you were big and that bulky and covered with hair. But you know, it seems like the fall season is typically when most of the reports are reported. Of course, you know, that is when hunting season opens. I mean, that, you know, that's when the majority of sightings that are reported That's one of the categories. We did a study of all the reports that we had gathered, and statistically, hunters and other outdoorsmen were the number one category of witnesses, followed very closely by drivers, people that were driving and saw something crossing the road, or something like my sighting that was just along the side of the road.
And what time of year was your sighting, Craig?
It was on May 30th, so it was spring.
So it was spring. It was still pleasant out. It wasn't
nice.
hot.
I mean, I had the soft top on my SUV rolled up because it was so nice outside. It was in the, it was around 70 degrees. I mean, it was very pleasant. And so, again, it took us driving down that road for there to be a sighting of this creature. Otherwise, I guess it's, like the saying, if a tree falls in the woods and no one is there to hear it, did it make a sound?
Well, is it safe to then say that more sightings happen in the fall and winter and spring versus summer?
I would say in the spring and fall. Winter, again, even down here, it does get cold. It doesn't hardly snow, but, people just aren't necessarily out in the woods when it's cold, at least down here. Up north, y'all are probably out in the woods, in the middle of a blizzard out up there, because you guys are used to that.
Well, that's usually the first thing I do as soon as it starts the blizzard, is to go run in the woods. Yeah.
Well, I know that you've found so Sasquatch tracks in the snow, so
sure.
I wouldn't doubt
it. Happens. It happens.
It's a good medium for finding tracks.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, you guys don't get much snow.
No, we don't. Maybe once a year.
But see, I've certainly wonder if a certain portion of them migrate down to Texas from northern latitudes, to get out of our cold.
Well, it's very possible.
I don't know.
I started this research, to get answers to, my personal encounter that I had. And truth be told, I have more questions now than I did then when I got started. There's a whole lot of questions and not a whole lot of answers.
Are there any berries or fruit that come to bear in the wintertime down there?
I don't know about the seasonal stuff, but we do have berries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries. We have berries down here, typically in the spring. But I don't know of anything in the winter, but, it's quite possible. There are grapes. We have wild grapes here, muscadine grapes and wild grapes and such. But, there's even wild blackberry patches and such. But, there's plenty of food from, like I said, Cattle Lake has, I can't even tell you how many species of fish that it has in it. Mammals, reptiles, amphibians, mollusk and such. And there's, plenty to eat, plenty of water, plenty of cover out here. So I can't imagine that there's, for instance, black bear, used to be here quite a bit. They are coming back into the state, but
So what's the black bear population in Texas? Do you think? What would be a guess?
I don't think it's very large, and a lot of it is out west. But like I said, they're coming back in from Louisiana and Arkansas and even Oklahoma. There's a huge black bear population just across the border up in southeast Oklahoma. We used to have problems when we had our camera project going up there with, camera traps being destroyed by bears, black bears. They were attracted to the petroleum byproducts and the plastic to make the cameras. And so we ended up having to invest in, heavy steel bear boxes for our cameras to keep them from being torn off the trees and destroyed, even eaten by the bears. So, it's there are bears here in the area. There's big cats, not roaming everywhere, but there are reports coming in of black bears being seen out here in Far East Texas, and big cats, mountain lions, and such.
Do you guys have a big population of like wild turkeys down there?
No, not really. We don't have turkeys, but dove and pheasant but not really a big population of wild turkeys. But there's, like I said, abundant small mammals, a huge deer population, wild hogs. So there's plenty of opportunity for Bigfoot to find something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine all the food down there. I have not, I've done a little bit of research in Texas, but not as much as I'd like to. I'd love to just spend a month down there and, the right time of year. And I love the swamps.
Well, come on down.
I'm sure I'd love Caddo Lake. I have not.
We can do another Swamp Stalker episode.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I really would. That would really be a dream, just to spend a damn month down there. Not have to work. Alex, can you take over for a month and I can go mess around in Texas?
You can certainly come to Jefferson and Caddo Lake for a week or whatever and hang out here and do the show remotely from here.
There you
come
go.
Speak at the Texas conference or the Fouke Festival and come hang out and take in the sights and sounds of the swamps.
Yeah, no, it's such a very cool area. So as far as aggression, do you ever hear much reports on aggressive Bigfoots? I always hear about, I don't know. I hear rumors that the Bigfoots down there are aggressive, but I don't know if they're just rumors.
Yeah, and people even laugh it off as, again, hair-covered being, you'd be pretty ticked off if you were out here without air conditioning. But I've never, ever investigated a credible report of anybody being certainly killed or majorly injured. We did have a woman years ago that we talked to that said that one had reached through a window in a pickup truck that she was in and grabbed her and tried to pull her out of the truck, but it didn't have any luck. She claims that she picked up, this was back in the probably 70s, that she had grabbed one of those big old Coke bottles, glass Coke bottle, and hit it on the hand to make it release her. But that it had, scratched her leg. But that was the only person I've ever spoken to that has ever said that they have been, even touched by a Bigfoot.
Wow.
I mean, there's, old wives' tales and such, but, most of I think is probably perceived aggression, as in, just like silverback gorillas with a bluff charge, maybe to scare somebody and to make them leave, but never, anybody that's been grabbed and had their neck wrung or anything like that.
Well, I got to come down there. I probably have like 40 pair of snake boots from other expeditions that are left, that we've done down there. But I probably have the world's biggest collection of snake boots ever. It's hilarious.
Well, what happens is you probably come down here and didn't bring them with you, and then you have to go.
No, I'd always have to outfit everybody with snake boots for some reason. I don't even know if that's that big of a problem, but there's your sketch.
Yep, there it is.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, Kev.
Yeah, we that was Sibylla Irwin that sketched that, and that's the profile of what we saw as we passed.
Yeah.
It appeared maybe a little lighter grayish, but it was the headlights were reflecting off of it. But I actually had never been back to the location until 20 years later, when went there and filmed a recreation on Finding Bigfoot of the sighting there, with and that was broadcast on the show Beast of the Bayou on Finding Bigfoot that came out in 2014. But pinpointed the location of the church using Google Earth and other landmarks, and found the location of where it happened, and went on site to film that for the show.
It's pretty. I just something about that sketch is kind of getting to me.
Well, it gets to me every time I see it too, because it brings it right back from nearly 30 years ago. Hey, I got a question. I got a question for you, Doug.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the status of Legend Meets Science 2?
Oh, we're filming. We just got done with a really big film shoot down in Ohio. Our next shoot will be probably at doing a kind of another round out west,
Mm-hmm.
and then the one after that will be down in North Carolina, and some other labs. And we have a lab in Texas we have to visit soon.
Very cool.
And film. So, yeah, I got to get down and hang out with you for a little bit.
Yeah, I can arrange. I've got a buddy that that actually gives private Bigfoot tours out on his boat on Caddo Lake. Usually only 5 or 6 people, and can even go out at night. So maybe you might even want to film some of that sometime.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah,
sounds cool. Okay, Alex, you can get rid of that thing. It's still garbage tonight. I got to take the garbage out. I don't want to look at that thing. But there's something about the posture that she captured,
right,
and the way you described it, probably. But it's just, yeah. I saw one walking too that way, near the car on my right side, and it was just walking along the road in the ditch.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what this was. I mean,
yeah, didn't get to see its face.
It was a low spot about 20 feet off the back of the road, and on the right side, and maybe 10 more feet beyond that, there was the tree line there. So I mean,
and I had a witness too. We both saw the same thing, and the one we saw too was also gray and black, and in fact, it was very much like starling speckles, like a starling would be. It had like little flecks of white in its fur or hair, but it was just creepy as heck, and you see something like that and I was completely caught off guard.
Oh yeah,
totally. It's the last thing you expect.
Yeah, I mean, back then I wasn't even into the Bigfoot stuff then. I mean, I had been as a kid, but it's something that really kind of drifted away growing up, being an adult, until bam, then, like I said, didn't really have any way to find out anything about it other than books that were out at the time until the internet, and then heck, Legend Meets Science wasn't that far beyond that.
Yep. And yes, we did do some polygraph stuff in Monster Quest, and people in almost every case passed. So, Alex, go ahead and ask Craig a question here.
Have we ever asked you about the more paranormal aspects of Bigfoot? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are on it's unlikely. in my opinion, because I'm definitely of the opinion that they are, a primate of some sort. Of course, we're humans are primates, but I've never encountered anything, any mind speak or any, cloaking or anything like that. I mean, there's no precedent for it in the animal kingdom. I think like down here when you're hunting white-tailed deer, they can, as soon as they get off the road into the tree line, they disappear, but it's only because, they're masters of camouflage, their coloration with the vegetation. And I think that that's possibly an aspect of when people say, it disappeared from view. I mean, look at the last scene in Harry and the Hendersons. When they take Harry and go release him out into the woods, and as soon as they do, all of these other Sasquatch, just morph out of the background there because they blend in. I believe they are definitely masters of disguise as far as natural camouflage.
Do you think people that say that there is some paranormal aspect to Bigfoot are confusing it with something else? Like there may be something else out there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've interviewed a lot of people and who said that they've seen them, and a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but some of the people, some of the people I fully feel that were honest and telling exactly what happened to them, what they saw. But there's a lot of people out there that are attention seekers that want to feel like they fit in and tell stories, embellish stories, certainly, about what they may have seen, and continue to embellish to continue to be relevant. I like to say that I wasn't there to experience what they say they experienced, so I can't unequivocally say that it's not. But who knows? I mean, I live in a town that is, everything here in town is haunted. I mean, there are spirits and apparitions, and people have even discussed a well-loved pet of theirs who has passed away, and they can feel its presence, or even see it, or feel it jump up on the bed, or whatever. And who knows, maybe some people are seeing the spirits or the ghosts or whatever of a Sasquatch. I don't know.
See, Alex, now I have to worry about Bigfoot ghosts.
Yeah. You could have to worry about, and who knows, maybe
on garbage night.
Yeah, on garbage night. Thanks.
Maybe Star Wars is correct, and maybe there's a planet out there
Of Chewbacca's?
with Chewbacca, that I don't know. I mean,
Who knows? Yeah, we don't know anything.
I mean, I personally don't think.
What about what about this? What about because there's a lot of times there's connection of Bigfoot sightings and orbs, UFOs.
Right, and I was just about to go there when you brought that up.
Okay, there you go.
There are people that like to, claim that Bigfoot and UFOs are connected somehow. But, well, could the Bigfoot that was there when a person saw it and the UFO go back to his Bigfoot buddies and say, man, you're not going to believe it, that these little hairless things, they are coming out of the strange lights in the sky. I mean, just because there's a Bigfoot seen in the vicinity of a UFO doesn't mean that they're connected any more than us being in a place where there's a UFO. I mean,
Alex, throw Jeff's comment up. It's a great comment.
What does it say?
Oh, it says you don't really need a paranormal explanation when there is so much evidence of a genuine biological phenomena.
Sure.
Yep, very well said.
I mean, why use one mystery to explain another mystery? I mean,
Yeah. I personally don't combine mysteries. Legend Meets Science 2 is going strictly after the physical evidence.
right.
And there's so much of it. Oh my God. I'm looking at piles of it now, new stuff that's come in that I have to go through. And this stuff's been pre-vetted. I'm getting evidence from people who know what they're doing.
That's the only kind of evidence that is going to prove anything. I mean, people claiming that they cloak or that they, hop through portals to other dimensions or are coming here on UFOs or whatever. I mean, that's stuff that can't be proven.
But you know what though? I still have an open mind.
Well, I do too. I can't disprove it. So
right.
I don't necessarily. It's not my field of
hey, if
study.
any god that can create the Gulper eel is capable of anything.
That's right.
You just have to go. Truth is just stranger than fiction on Earth. It's just, we live in such an amazing planet with so many amazing creatures. And God knows how many super abilities, natural super abilities these creatures may possess. Maybe they only possess super strength. That's their super ability. Maybe it's there's some unique quality with their hair,
right.
that allows them to camouflage better than
like
any animal on the planet. We don't know yet. But I am striving personally to get some of those answers.
Like polar bears, they're not white.
No, their hair is clear.
Yeah.
Yep, they're not white at all. Who knows? We'll hopefully get some more answers this year. That's kind of what I'm, hoping.
When is the planned unveiling?
Well, we may end up probably releasing it in parts. Doing part 1, part 2 would be more of like a series.
Okay.
We definitely have enough for part 1 right now, ready to go here. And so I've been thinking about already starting to write and edit because we have shot so much footage, so much cool footage. And like, for instance, we had a scientific conclusion already on stick breaks.
Yeah.
By a scientist, as an example. So we're already starting to even get conclusions, which is really cool.
I can't wait to see, the segment certainly on the face print from Texas.
Yeah. It was funny because I was asking Jeff Perella here, who's in chat, and I was asking him, where he got his interest, and he said his interest came from Legend Meets Science 1 back in the 2000s.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool to hear stuff like that. And I've already interviewed 3 that said that they basically became a scientist and got interested in science because of like Legend Meets Science.
Very cool.
And it's really cool to hear. So we're hoping Legend Meets Science 2 blows everything away.
Well, you've been involved with so many things, so many productions that had to do with the subject. I mean, Mysterious Encounters.
You're probably the only guy alive that knows that series.
Monster Quest. Well, I was in one.
I know.
and with Monster Quest, involved with several episodes, and there was the real King Kong. And Legend Meets Science, and now Legend Meets Science 2. So, I mean, with your body of work, very prolific in the field of cryptozoology.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm just hoping that this doc doesn't let anybody down. Man, the pressure is on. I have never felt this much pressure to do a really amazing job on a production than Legend Meets Science 2.
Well, Legend Beat Science 1 set the bar pretty high.
So it's kind of scary, it's kind of scary, but we'll see. In fact, Alex, before you sign off tonight, after we're done, there's some footage I need you to get off my computer tonight.
Okay, cool.
Can you do that before you go to bed? Because we're both kind of under the weather here. I think Alex may have gotten it over here, maybe.
Yeah.
No. Anyhow,
well, you guys, I'm sure, need plenty of rest.
Yeah,
fluids and rest.
Yeah, we'll probably kind of cut our show a little short here. I'm about out of energy, losing my voice again. I'm like, gosh. And I've been doing like sleeping in, Craig. I've been getting like 4 hours a night.
Whoa, that's a lot for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Plus, I took a nap here right before the show, so still not helping. I guess I need 5 hours a night maybe to whip this flu.
Boy, you're going to need to petition for more hours to be added to the day.
Well, you remember Mysterious Encounters. I mean, we had things like, we had probably the first drone ever shown on television.
Yeah.
We used thermal cameras back when they were like 50 grand.
Right.
No one knew what a thermal camera was for Mysterious Encounters.
Yeah,
we had pretty cool camera traps.
That's stuff 20 years ago. I mean, we need to have a 20th anniversary resurrection of Mysterious Encounters.
Yeah. We should probably try to get some of those up on our channel, Alex.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You have all the tapes at work at the office.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think OLN gives a damn about that show anymore. I don't think. We'll have to just put them up and see what happens.
Who are they even now?
I think it's a company called Versus. They just do live sporting events.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have no interest in Mysterious Encounters. But that show was the first Bigfoot series ever on television.
Yep.
There had never been a Bigfoot series. So I think that's cool. Was it like the first time ever on TV was this new thing called a reality show? Yep. I still cannot find a reality show that predates Mysterious Encounters.
Well, Survivor.
Pardon?
Survivor.
When was that?
It came out in 2000.
Oh, it did? Okay, there you go. First time. Yeah, well, you're a historian.
I have a wealth of useless knowledge.
But I would love you to find, I really would like to confirm this. There really hadn't been any IR, with the early IR cameras. I think Mysterious Encounters was the first show to utilize IR cameras.
Well, I imagine so. I mean, what applications were there for them back then?
Yeah, there really wasn't any. Anyhow, so we're looking forward to it. Well, thank you so much, Craig, for coming on and go ahead and give us the details again on your upcoming April show.
Well, you can look it up on Facebook, the Fouke Monster Festival, 2024 Fouke Monster Festival. It's April 26th and 27th in fabulous Fouke, Arkansas. There's information on the internet under FoukeMonster.net, and there's I'd be lying if I said there's plenty to do in town that weekend. But there is the world famous Monster Mart to check out. And we'll be having a catered Cajun dinner with the speakers on Friday night. And then we have the event all day on Saturday, as well as guided bus tours of local spots of interest where the movie was filmed, as well as where there have actually been actual Fouke Monster sightings over the years. So we do take folks out. It's about an hour-long tour there around Fouke and surrounding areas
cool.
where things have happened, so they can see where, where scenes from the movie were actually filmed and where actual sightings of the Fouke Monster have been. So
Well, it sounds like a fun event.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's a cool
nice.
deal. I mean, Fouke is a town of only 800 or so, but it's really cool because.
Well, where do people stay when they come out there?
In Texarkana.
Oh, okay.
Way.
Alrighty.
There's some Airbnbs, but even them, they're probably in Texarkana. But we have a host hotel there. That information is on the event page on Facebook, with discounted rooms there in Texarkana where myself and the speakers will be staying during the event. So there's the opportunity to stay there at the host hotel where you can come in and maybe grab breakfast with myself or the speakers.
Oh, cool.
Or hanging out after hours as
And
well.
Lori mentioned a bunch of them camp at Smith Park for that
Yes,
weekend.
Alex Smith Park is right there near where the event is, and it's free camping, first come first served there, and a lot of people do camp there during the event.
Well, very cool. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everybody has a great 2024. That won't be hard to beat 2023, will it, Alex?
No.
No. So but I do want to wish everybody a great, safe New Year's Eve and New Year's upcoming here. And Happy New Year to you, Craig. And thank you so much for coming on this holiday week.
No problem, guys. It's always a pleasure. I've enjoyed any time I've had to spend with you shooting the breeze, Doug. Yeah, whether it's on a podcast or at a sidebar at a table at a conference or wherever. So always enjoy crossing paths with you.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you, Alex. You get some rest, and we'll sign off. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Get well. Get well.
Call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should start falling, we'll head on home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Oh, ain't no ordinary love we got going on. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I'll pray they never can pull us apart, and I'll wait for the time when we'll be together every day. But I know if ever we'll be led astray, that I'll find my way back home to you again. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart, and I'll wait. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt,